So I don't need to tell you how obvious it is when something is in your alignment and when something's truly not in your alignment. Because if you're in a job or you're in a relationship that isn't a complete yes to your being, and I'm talking making decisions right, if you're staying in a job because of, let's say, you have a fear about losing money, or you're with someone because you're afraid of what they'll think if you leave them, these are no reasons to stay in any kind of contract, right? We live in a society of agreements. Everything's an agreement that we take to be real. Take money, for example. I mean, what is the monetary system? It's a bunch of people agreeing that this is this value, and if I give you this, then you give me that, right? We live in a world of agreements. We live in a world of, well, if we all believe this enough, then it works, right? But you're under no law to believe anything unless it's true to you. And I'm talking, if you're in something, let's say a decision's been made, and the amount of times I've had to really sit down and think, am I doing this out of joy, out of love, or am I doing this just to get a paycheck in order to keep the body alive, in order for it to see another day? And the universe can only go on your cue. If that's how you think you have to live, it will give you that, because it's a wish-fulfilling dream. But have you ever given, and the line comes to me at the moment of the poet Mary Oliver, she says, leave enough room in your heart for the unimaginable. Are you giving the universe a chance to support you in your step into this unknown, right? Whether it's a job that is more creative, it's more what represents you, whether it's a relationship or being on your own, and the fear of being on your own, but realizing when you take that step, or you're going to a relationship that you're afraid of, it's always something inside of you that is more alignment with your joy. It's something that's quite mischievous. It's quite exciting to step into this unknown. Something in you, we all have the joker in us that knows it goes against everything that society says. Because society, as we're starting to realize, as we've all realized all along, I mean, we came here to show the society that was already on the earth that this is not going to be sustainable. We came here to disrupt, but the only way you can disrupt a society is not to make it real, not to attack it, not to go after it and demonize it, but to be in your light that doesn't get persuaded to follow the rules, you could say, of what it means to be in a society. So again, as I always say, everyone's counting on you to not follow the rules. Everyone's counting on you, or you could say yourself is counting on yourself, when you chose to veil who you were and you got sucked into a society on purpose. You had to leave everything at the door of the spirit world in order to experience this level of severe limitation, right? It's so exciting to have this amount of limitation, because it means you can come up with very slow manifestation. It takes time to build some kind of creative career. It takes time to, it's such a good game, right? But you've forgotten that it's a complete game. Who you are is infinitely free. You've flown through galaxies, you instant manifestation, great, but there isn't much of a learning in terms of what you can learn in this dualistic world. So now you're left with a decision, right? Am I going to believe in what this tempting cluster of energy, which is just a collective, that's all it is attempting to lure me into? Or can I just slowly see that when I start to take the fearless decision, I'm always supported in that way by the universe? The light of this world is waiting for you to take that step in order to even show you that it's supporting you. I mean, the question, how often do you even allow the universe to show that it's supporting you, comes in. We say, you could be staying in a job saying, oh, well, it's not going to work. I can't go off and do my true passion because of this, because of that. But have you tried? Is there any definite evidence of that? Because every time I take a step into the unknown, I'm always supported by the ground. The ground, I never know where it's coming from. The physical mind doesn't have to know how something works. It just needs to let go of its insistence on knowing how, because something in you, there's some force, a higher self, you could say, your more true self, that knows how, right? Up on the peak. But you don't need to know how. All you need is the willingness to be in alignment of fearlessness. You know, you'll get to the end of your life, and everyone always says it. I've always watched these deathbed videos, and they say, I just wish I trusted myself more. And so I came into this incarnation just pure trust. There's been so many feelings of despair, so many feelings, because there's that temptation there. But every time it was seen, the only way through, get back in alignment. Trust yourself, trust the process, trust. And then you become a beacon of trust. And people be inspired by the way that you lean on yourself, right? You lean on the place that cannot be touched by this world. That is the inspiration to others. And it starts to pierce through light into the collective that are basically in an enslavement, really, to the collective. They think that's the only way, right, to survive, is to be in this pack mentality. But we all have to come into our own sovereignty. When we all come into our own sovereignty, that's how we join, really. You join in joy, you join in power. You don't join in weak, soft, slavery mentality. You can't join that way, because there'll always be a part of you that knows it's not being itself, it's not free, it's not how it was just prior to falling into this dream of duality. So the mission all along was to bring heaven to earth. It's in all the texts and in everything. You're here not to just obey the laws of limitation. That is not your role. You know it's not. That's why it's claustrophobic. That's why you're on my channel. That's why you're not scared away yet, because you know there's something in you that's coming into this alignment of power. So trust that. First of all, every time, always trust yourself. Always trust the part of you that isn't afraid of, well, you know, what if I don't have enough money? What if I upset this person? If you're ever making decisions because you're upsetting someone, right, okay, there's a balance. But usually the part of them they're upsetting is the part of them that needs to be triggered and shaken awake in order to find the love within themselves as well. Don't be afraid to upset people, right? If it means choosing yourself, because they shouldn't be leaning on you in that way anyway. They need to be finding that love in themselves anyway. Let's say that's the relationships, right? Now let's say in the workplace, your boss, you know, upsetting your boss for leaving or something. Why is he getting upset about that? Why is she, you know, do you see what I mean? We're always, then your actions of fearlessness is showing people back into themselves. Why are they in these structures? Why do they believe in these things? So don't be afraid to disrupt. All right. I love you. Goodbye.